Hi, I'm Julie Reeves. You're watching greenupbeacon.com, a member of the Beacon Media Group.
Because the force, it's got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like
Hello, this is Hank Bond with Beacon Video News Update, and our guest today is Ann Stevens, an agent with the Greenup Extension Arts Council and the Greenup County Extension Office, and she works at Raceland High School and raises 2 children and is married to Tom Stevens, the choral director at Raceland High School, also the pastor at First Baptist Church Raceland. What we're here to talk about, though, is Jesse Stuart Weekend, sponsored by the Jesse Stuart Foundation, and a lot of activity takes place out of Greenbow Lake State Resort Park, but here at the John P. Stevens Cultural Arts Center will be Old Ben, a production produced by Ann Stevens and written and scripted by Carol Spence, and you talk to a little bit about what that's going to be.
Okay, glad to. Thank you, Hank. The Jesse Stuart Weekend is coming up this weekend at the Lodge, and as part of those festivities, we like to think of it as the grand finale of Jesse Stuart Weekend. Dr. Gifford brings all of their participants here to the Cultural Arts Center at Raceland High School for a music drama production. Each year, the Greenup Extension Arts Council in the fall does a music drama performance of one of Jesse's junior novels. So we get to bring one of those books to life on stage. We have all local actors and local musicians. It is not a musical, it is a play with music intertwined in the story, because music is such a part of our local culture, and so is Jesse and his writings, and we want our community to be proud of that, to understand that, to know more about that. Most people do know who Jesse Stuart is. We want our children to understand who he was, why it's important that we honor people like him, that he was a talented person who had a passion for what he was interested in. He loved writing, he loved reading, he loved education, and he pursued those things in such a way that he was successful, and he's world-renowned. And that is something that we should really be proud of, because he's from right here in Greenup County, just like I am, just like most of the students that I work with. And that's what we want them to understand, is that whatever your love is, what your talent is, you need to follow that, do your very best at it, and you can be successful. So we want people to understand these stories, that they're still relevant to us today. They tell the story of what life was like in the 30s and 40s here in Greenup County. So we can show a picture of that on the stage. And this year we're doing Old Ben, and it's not every day you get to see a play where the main character is a snake. Of course, our students think that's great. We market the show to our school children, grades preschool through 6th grade or so. We really want to target those 5th graders, because they're learning Kentucky history, and of course Jesse Stuart's writing is a part of our local Kentucky history. It's a part of all of those stories that he wrote, and that one-room schoolhouse is always a part of the stories. Old Ben was a bull black snake that the little boy Shan, who is actually Jesse as a child in these stories, he's telling about memories that he has from when he was a child. So Shan finds that on his way home from school one day, he runs across this big giant snake. And instead of being afraid of it, like most people seem to be afraid of snakes, he made friends with it. He talked to this snake, and he picked it up and he took it home. Of course, his parents weren't real thrilled about that. My child has caught a snake and brought it to me before, and I wasn't terribly thrilled about that. But we're balancing that part of the story with some education about snakes. We do have snakes in our backyards here in Greenup County. We want our children to understand why you don't just pick up a snake, that it might be a copperhead, it might be a rattlesnake. So after the show, we do have a naturalist that works with Kentucky Fish and Wildlife who is going to do a presentation to our audience about the importance of snakes, why they are a part of our environment and why that is important and why we respect that, but also balance that respect with the real danger of picking up a snake. We don't want a child to go out of this show wanting to make friends with a snake and bring one home. So we are balancing that part of the story. We do have a presenter who is a specialist, again, with Fish and Wildlife, who's going to talk to the kids about snakes. And our student shows, we are a part of the youth education series at the Paramount. So we're doing a presentation there. We're doing 2 shows at Raceland. We're taking the show to Russell McDowell this year, and by the time we do that, we will have had over 1,800 students see our show. So we're very proud of that. Saturday, which, as I was speaking to before, is the end of Jesse Stuart Weekend. The participants at the weekend will come to Raceland High School and be a part of our audience to see that show Saturday night, and then that show is open to the public. There's a $3 admission at the door, and that, of course, helps us continue our programming. And there are costs incurred, and so we appreciate very much people being willing to pay that $3 admission at the door. And I can guarantee you that the entertainment factor is certainly higher than $3. Well worth the money, and it's right here close to home. It is a family-friendly activity that people can come to, don't have to travel very far, right here in Raceland. And along with the play that is very true to the book, we have live music by Kentucky Memories. Michael Garvin is an award-winning fiddle player, and we have a old-time string band who is playing again, weaved into that story. In between each scene, we have some music that sets that scene. It's what you would hear if you were to go to an old-time barn dance back in the time of Jesse Stuart. So it's all very true to the history and culture of our county, something to be proud of, something to share with your children. And so that's one reason why we want to present this as a public show, and we invite everybody to come and enjoy it with us.
Thank you, Ann. Again, that's Saturday night, September 28th at the John P. Stevens Cultural Arts Center, 7:30.
Yes.
$3 is the admission, and it's the end of Jesse Stuart Weekend. This is Hank Bond for Beacon Video News Update.
You know, I was
Hi, I'm Julie Reeves. You're watching Green at Beacon.com, a member of the Beacon Media Group.
because the force, it's got a lot of power, and it makes me feel like